Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the 32nd online session since we were hit by COVID-19. So this is the 32nd session, and we've already had more than 10 sessions for seniors. So we are really gratified to have you all again for this session, which is a 1-hour session. And we have some very interesting speakers today. You can see the agenda in front of you. I'm not reading it out. So you can see we'll start with guided breathing practices. And of course, there'll be what we call is a combo, which Dr. Sachin is going to do the guided breathing practice. He does it so well with music. And we, of course, have Dan Maggie, who's back once again. He was with us last week. So it's a fantastic combination. So that's how we begin. And then, of course, we have heart hug and exploring the breath. So that's another. So there's a lot of exploration on the breath, just telling you how important it is to be alive, to keep breathing and make sense, of everything that has to do with wellness by doing the right kind of breathing exercise and practices. Of course, more you will hear from the experts, and we have Melanie Brophy and Vicky Kramer, who are the practitioners from Studio 53 S3 NSC, right? So that's a fantastic combination again. I think we're all for a treat, and we want to make it as interactive as possible. So after they finish, please hold on to your, don't hold on to your question. You can start putting your questions in the chat box. There's a Q&A session. So as you keep hearing them, questions run into your mind, put them in the chat box, and we promise you to make it as interactive as possible. And Sachin will take on the question answer session. So having said that, we're also here to tell you that having done 32 online events, which is free events for the community. We are a non-profit organization, part of ICC. So any of you wishing to donate can actually do that in this website, Crack the Wellness Code /donate. So that's the site. Or you can go to Crack the Wellness Code, our website, which gives you what you do. And of course, you can find the donate there. So we shall definitely appreciate if you sort of keep supporting all that we are doing here. So now to bring this kind of programs to you, we certainly have a very wide and enriching ecosystem, wellness ecosystem, which we have built over the last nearly 2 years. And you can see that we have more than 30 doctors, 22 plus nutritionists, dietitians, and wellness partners, more than 12, and then of course a whole lot of practitioners and health tech companies that we work with. And these are the kind of programs that we do, youth empowerment and so on. And I know some of you are also participating in some other programs, like the Saturday morning program, which is a wellness support group. And there also we have some interesting speakers, but there we try to bond and sort of look at few areas where we can improve ourselves, to make ourselves healthier, both in terms of our body and mind. And then finally, we have this disclaimer. We are not directly providing healthcare services, but we are certainly a platform. And people like Sachin and I, we can help connecting you to some practitioners. But this session, of course, is to empower you, sort of provide education, information, connect with other people, but we do not provide direct healthcare from this. So having said that, let's get started. And as per going the agenda, I will invite Dr. Sachin Deshmukh, whom you all know very well. And for others, you can see that he wears multiple hats, and obviously he's a meditation guru. And just wait and see as he keeps unfolding, his guided breathing practices. So over to you, Sachin, and let me, get the screen for you as well. So
Right.
yeah.
Thank you. So good evening to you all. So thanks for joining us. So our musician is just logging in. So give me 1 second for him to settle in. So Dan, can you hear us now? Yeah, you can just unmute yourself and you can start with the music in the middle when I'm ready, like normally do. Okay, so all right, so sit straight and comfortable into the chair. Take a deep breath and then gently bring both the palms facing to the sky, but resting into the lap at the junction of the upper and the lower half of your body. Make the chin parallel to the ground and then slowly breathe in and then close our eyes. Just tune in the breath. So let our mind just flow with the breath. Gently just breathe in and then gently just breathe out. So let our breath take over. So as we breathe in, feel the movement into the belly, so belly button out. As we breathe out, also feel the movement into the belly, belly button sucking in, pushing the diaphragm upward, and then we rest before we start with the new breath. So start relaxing the body, so back and the neck, the spine, the shoulders, and then just follow the breath. So as we breathe in, we pause, and then also as we breathe out, we pause. So this pause really makes the difference. So it starts making the body comfortable and relaxed by activating the sympathetic nervous system. And then that parasympathetic response is what really creates the sense of relaxation. So more we let the breath take over, let the mind relax, the more body reciprocates naturally. So we'll do the body scan as we are sitting. So again, make the body comfortable, chin parallel to the ground. Those whose eyes are open, take a deep breath, gently close your eyes. Now we'll make the mental connection to the different body parts. So we will start from the toe to the head. So we relax the toes, then the heels, then the knees, and then the hips. Then the palms, then the wrists, then the elbows, and then the shoulders. Lower back, middle back, upper back, back of the neck, back of the head, top of the head, whole of the face. Open and relax the chin, slide down, open and relax the throat, slide down, open and relax the chest, slide down all the way to the belly, and then just flow with the breath. So we are using the affirmation during all this time. So the simple words positive, calm, and then strong. So as we breathe in, so think, I am positive. As you hold your breath, so think, I am strong. As you breathe out, so think, I am calm. And then as you wait for the new breath, again think, I am strong. So let it rhyme in your mind. So as you breathe in, I am positive. As you pause, you think, I am strong. As you breathe out, so think, I am calm. And then as you pause, think, I am strong. I will use another visualization. So as we breathe in, so think, we are breathing through top of the head and then bring the awareness all the way to the ground. Then pause the breath. As we start exhaling, you release the breath through the ground, through the forehead. Again, breathe in through the top of the head. So go all the way to the ground. As we breathe out through the ground, release it through the forehead to the sky. So that way we visualize, we connect all the five elements together. So the space and the ether, and then the earth. Then the body has water, and then the awareness as itself is the symbol of the fire. Any other emotions come in your mind, so let them come, let them go. Gently tap them away with this affirmation by repeating it gently with every breath. So I am positive. As you hold, I am strong. As you breathe out, I am calm. And then as you pause it, again, I am strong. So keep your eyes closed. You will also hear the music with our musician in the background. So let your mind just flow with the breath, then the music, and then the affirmation. So whatever stays with you, you hold on to it. Okay, Dan, so go ahead. Thank you, Dan. So stay in the silence for a moment. Again, we'll do a gentle body scan. So to the toes, to the heels, to the knees and to the hips, to the palms, to the wrists, to the elbows and to the shoulders, to the lower back, middle back, upper back, back of the head, top of the head, whole of the face. Slide down, open and relax the chest all the way to the belly. Quickly assess when we begin and before and now, what differences you notice, the mental change, physical change, change in your breath, any other things. And then once you feel ready, so take a deep breath, rubbing the palms together, massaging the fingers, and then bring the palms on top of the head. So hold it for a couple of seconds, and then slowly caressing whole of the face. So gently rub your temples, the jaw. If anything feels tighter, you release it all the way. And then back of the neck, and then to the shoulders, to the arms, to the forearms, to the chest, in the back, and then go all the way to the toes, relaxing the body, taking the moment. So now, once we feel ready, so breathe in, and then slowly tap the body, above and then under, and then above and then under, to the chest, in the back, and then go all the way to the toes, ease the body, taking a moment. And then once we feel ready, so again, rubbing the palms, massaging the fingers, bring them all the way on top of the head. So to the face, to the neck, to the shoulders, all the way in the front, to the back, to the knees, to the toes. And then last time we'll do it in silence. So rub your palms, massaging the fingers, and think, I am positive, I am strong, I am calm, and I am strong. So make a eye contact to the ground, and then once you feel ready, so take a deep breath, very gradually open your eyes. So welcome back, and herewith I would like to introduce you to our guest for today's evening. And our first guest is Malani Brophy, and second one is Vicky Kramer. And I know them many years. And they're fabulous individuals, and also they do this as a mission. So they overcome a lot of obstacles to reach this particular theme, and this was their bridge to cross over, and that can be very inspiring for a lot of us, the journey together. So I'm glad. Thanks for joining us, Malani and Vicky. So you can start. So you can unmute, or I can unmute you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. And I'm really feel a privilege to be here with all of you, and especially because I think that, you know, we all are in some ways kind of separate. You see all these little boxes, and yet we're all together. And it's been a silver lining for us in some ways during this whole quarantine, for us to be able to actually continue to practice Feldenkrais and a lot of these other mind-body kind of practices, together with a community that we have, not just locally, but even now we're kind of reaching out to other areas through this format. So we're glad to be here today to share what we know, our knowledge with you. Feldenkrais, if you're not familiar with it, is another mind-body practice. And both Vicky and I practice with Sense Studio, which is a nonprofit organization. And we've also taught at the YMCA, where we know Sachin. And I'll turn it over a little bit to Vicky to have her introduce herself as well.
Hi, everyone. I'm happy to be here share with you tonight and to learn also. I became involved in the Feldenkrais teaching because of chronic pain that I had. And I was introduced to this by my physical therapist. And it became a key part of my rehabilitation after back surgery, a problem since I was a teenager. And I really enjoyed sharing it with others. And glad to be here this evening. Thank you.
Okay.
So as Malani, is it possible for you both to shed a little bit more light on what to expect into a normal Feldenkrais session and things before you give them the experience?
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, you know, Feldenkrais is a way of developing more understanding of yourself, actually. And that awareness comes through movement. And so it's kind of an interesting, kind of a backdoor into it. And the movement is done very gently and with actually a lot less effort. So much of our lives, I know that I usually, when I'm a hard worker, I came from a family that believed in hard work, and I would put in a lot of effort. I also had problems with a frozen shoulder, and I said, oh, I can get over this by putting in a lot more effort. I would kind of really work out and do more. Well, it turned out that I had to go to a doctor for a second opinion who told me, I think you could benefit from doing the Feldenkrais method. Because I was actually dysfunctional. I was just kind of repeating the same habits, the same patterns. And then I started doing Feldenkrais, and it was so different. In some ways, it seems very simple, very slow. The movements are so gentle. You say, well, I can do this. How can this make a difference? Well, somehow it works between the way you sense yourself, your body, your brain starts to figure out, oh, you know, maybe these other patterns make me feel more comfortable. And gradually, if you can improve one part of you, it may not be the thing that you went there to improve, but if you improve something else, well, all of you generalizes and all of you can improve. And then you also reduce pain and discomfort as well, because you're kind of feeling more pleasure in your movement. How about you, Vicki? Can you give a different explanation, a little more clarity?
Yeah, it's kind of the same same idea, kind of a unique approach to exploring movement, where you're asked to do something different rather than effort. You're asked to move slow and gentle and reduce your muscular effort. And in doing that, you're exploring a lot of different options around a movement pattern, you know, some kind of a general movement pattern of turning or bending, something that is your brain can kind of is familiar with, and will begin to bring more and more of you into sort of a whole body movement. So you're breaking up these habits of movement, and it's just kind of an effortless way to improve. And the less you do, the more you back up and listen to what you're doing and explore within your comfort range, never putting up with any discomfort, is where you will get the most benefit. So it's kind of a wonderful place to be, an easy way to improve. And generally, your everyday activities, maybe sports, whatever you want to do, becomes more comfortable. And I think actually the most wonderful thing is that you as you feel differences and you begin to kind of get to know what you're doing in your habitual everyday movements. Maybe you've had injuries and different things have happened. You begin to kind of work with yourself so that you can you can continue to improve. And Feldenkrais used to say there's no limit to how much you can improve. So I always enjoy that very hopeful attitude.
Yeah, and if you have more questions, we'll be glad to answer them at the end of this experience. We're going to guide you through a very short kind of experience, but something that hopefully you can also do for yourself. So if you'll come with me, I think that just sit on a chair where I think most of you are already on a chair, and if you can come to maybe the edge of your chair so that your feet are comfortably on the ground. You know, so you can feel your feet on the ground. Mm-hmm. And you sense your sits bones underneath you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and sense how you're aligned over your sits bones, your shoulders, your head, your neck. And then just come back to your breathing again, just as we did at the beginning, you know, with Sachin. And in this case, just very like non-judgmentally, we're not changing anything. Like there's no correct way to breathe, noticing just how you breathe and where there's movement. And maybe just place a hand, one hand on the top of your chest and one hand on your belly. Just noticing where there's some movement. You know, do you sense some movement in your chest? Mm-hmm. And is there maybe some movement also in your belly? Mm-hmm. Okay. Just let that go. And we do quite a few pauses in Feldenkrais. And the whole idea of that is it kind of refreshes your attention so that every time we do another little movement or exploration, you come at it with like a fresh attention, like it's brand new again for you. So now I'm going to teach you the heart hug actually first. It's kind of a gentle touch. You place one hand on top of the other on your chest. It's the palm of one hand on top of the palm of the other. It doesn't matter which hand is on the bottom. Okay. And just sense your skin to skin contact. Maybe as if you were touching like a butterfly or a flower, a very gentle, light touch, but sensing the skin. And just begin by making some circular movements. If you can move the skin, your skin around in a circle. Yeah. Breathing. And then reverse the circle. Okay, just let that go. Pause for a moment. And bring your hands back to your chest, your one hand on top of the other. Mm-hmm. And now, sensing the skin to skin contact, imagine there was a little clock on your chest, right under your hand. And it's a small clock. maybe only about a half an inch or 1 inch in diameter. And so you'll, sensing that skin to skin contact, go down to 6 o'clock and then go around in a circle for 1¼ circles. It doesn't matter which direction, and then come back to 6 o'clock. And keep doing that again, making your own pace, your own rhythm, going around, yeah, moving the skin, 1¼ circle, and coming back to 6 o'clock.
And the palms are touching to the chest.
Yes, yeah. Your palms are touching your chest. You're moving the skin around in a circle, but you're going 1¼ circles, either 3 o'clock or 9 o'clock, and then coming back to 6 o'clock. And just notice, how are you breathing? And are your eyes open or closed? And so let's all try it with our eyes closed. And then open your eyes. Great. And let that go. You know, rest. You can go and rest at the back of your chair if you want, or whatever is comfortable for you. And just sense your breathing now. Has anything changed? Is your breathing fuller, deeper, slower? Okay. And let's come back up to the front of your chair and have your feet underneath your knees in a place where it feels supported. And notice where your sits bones are, where you're sitting on your sits bones. Yeah. And could you rock a little bit? Yeah, to any side. You pick a side. Rock to one side and then come back to the center. And do that again. Go to that side. Feel the pressure. When it goes to that buttock, does the other buttock lift a little, get a little lighter? And what comes along when you shift to that side? Does something happen to the ribs on that side? And pause in the middle for a minute, just a second. And now shift your weight to the other side. And come back to the neutral. Yeah, what's different about coming to this side? Yeah, one side gets heavier and the other side of your pelvis gets lighter? And then just go ahead and connect the 2 points, like you were drawing a horizontal line, going from side to side. And pause in the middle. Now, some of you are just kind of going from side to side, and all of you are going from side to side. Yeah. And let's all do that. You kind of go from side to side, and you're kind of moving like a pendulum. All of you going from side to side, and you can still feel that shifting of weight underneath your buttock, right? And come to the middle and pause. And I notice some of you, you're curving a little bit like a banana, like kind of like as you move from side to side, maybe one side of you gets shorter and the other side of you gets a little longer. You're kind of like, and your head may tilt a little closer to your shoulder, allowing your head and neck to kind of move with this movement. And where do your eyes look? Yeah. Nice. And come back to the middle and just pause, rest a minute. And if you're comfortable, rest here, or if you want to, rest against your chair. Please come back to the edge of your chair again. And sense your feet under the ground, sense your feet supporting you. And go ahead now and think of tilting your pelvis a little bit forward and then back to neutral. So now you're rocking your pelvis forward and back to neutral. Yeah. And then you can tilt your pelvis back. Yeah. Right. And you notice your back rounds when you tilt your pelvis back. And let your eyes look down and connect that movement going up, your eyes looking up. Down, just a little bit, like, doesn't have to be a big movement, but just notice what's the difference like when your eyes are involved. And then do it when you're not looking, like you're keeping your eyes still. What a difference it makes. And then go ahead and let your eyes look up, your eyes look down. And just come back to the middle. Yeah, nice. And just go back and rest. Yeah, pause, rest. Now come back to the edge of your chair again. Mm-hmm. Sense your feet underneath you. And we did up and down, we did side to side, and you can kind of familiarize yourself with that again. Now, could you go and connect that? Imagine there was a clock underneath your pelvis. Could you go ahead and make a circle? It could be a small circle. Yeah, tiny circle underneath you. And reverse that circle. Yes, lovely. Beautiful. Yeah. And let that go, rest. Just pause for a moment. And now let's go back to that heart hug after doing a few of those movements, okay? So we'll put your hands back on your chest. And sense your pelvis underneath you, the sits bones, the skin to skin contact. And go again down to 6 o'clock with your hands, going around a little tiny circle, all the way to 3 o'clock or 9 o'clock, and then come back down. This time, breathe in as you go around the circle, and breathe out when you come back to 6 o'clock. And could you smile as you're doing this movement? Yeah. Or just think about how you could even arrange your face as if to smile. And breathing out through kind of slightly open lips, like you were blowing out a candle. Smiling. And then one last time, thinking about something you're grateful for. And rest, let it all go. Just let your breathing come back to normal. And go ahead and notice your breathing, just that test that we did at the beginning. Do you sense more breathing now in your belly? In your chest? Maybe even under your armpits. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. That was the heart hug. And you can also do this like on the left side, different parts of the left side, on the ribs, opening up all the lungs on that side, and just pausing to notice any difference between the left side and the right. As you know, the left side is also where your heart is. And then you can also do the heart hug on the right side of yourself, exploring different parts of the right side, you know, and then, yeah, and then pausing as well. So that can really open up all the lungs and your breathing. So, of course, our wish is always for good breathing and good respiratory health at all times, but especially now, we wanted to share this particular movement that we thought that you could do for yourself at home or any time that you feel that it would be helpful for you.
Thank you, Malani. That was wonderful. So we have around like 10 to 12 minutes for question and answer.
Mm-hmm.
So we normally end at 7:30. So we have ample time to ask the questions to both of our experts. So feel free to, either you can type them up or you can unmute and ask them in person.
Mm.